The ceasefire in Gaza is again being tested, with Israel conducting several strikes on the Strip on Monday morning. Artillery shelling targeted Deir in central Gaza, and in Khan Younis in the south, a Palestinian was injured after an Israeli drone strike. More than 230 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks on the Strip since the agreement came into effect on October the 10th. Well, in the last hour, Israel's released the bodies of several Palestinians. They were transferred into Gaza through the Kissufim crossing. It's part of the ceasefire agreement in which Hamas will hand over captives' bodies in exchange for Palestinian prisoners and bodies. This is the 10th such Israeli transfer. Well, it comes after Israel confirmed 3 bodies it received from Hamas overnight are those of Israeli captives. The remains had been sent for forensic examination. Israel confirmed all 3 captives had been army officials. Their families have been informed. And the search for the bodies of the 8 remaining captives continues in Gaza. These are some of the latest images of that search being coordinated by the Red Cross and Hamas's armed wing. Israel's allowed in bulldozers and heavy machinery to assist them. All right, let's speak live now to Tarek Abu-Zoom, who's in Gaza City. And Tarek, talk us through the search for these outstanding captives' remains. Has the presence of all of this heavy machinery and specialist teams made a significant difference to the search?
Yeah, that's right. We saw earlier this morning searching operations started in the eastern parts of Al-Shuja'iyya neighborhood, which is in the eastern edge of the entire Gaza City, where members of Al-Qassam brigades, accompanied by ICRC teams, coordinating the process of retrieving the bodies of the Israeli captives from that site in particular, where a number of bodies believed to be buried there after being killed by Israeli bombardment in the previous operations that took place in Al-Shuja'iyya neighborhood, that is, by the way, has been declared by the Israeli military to be multiply declared from the military perspective from any sort of threats. And again, we can see that this area remains an epicenter for future developments, including the burial of the Israeli deceased captives. We saw excavators, bulldozers are operating there from the early hours of this morning. Previously, all kinds of heavy machinery and even civilians could not approach this site due to its classification as a red active war zone, and it's located beyond the yellow line under the Israeli military control. But mediators managed to convince Israel to allow for the members of Al-Qassam brigades and the ICRC teams to dig and search in that site in order to retrieve the Israeli bodies, in a sign that both sides have been facing mounting pressure by mediators to keep committing to the terms of the agreement and to move to the second phase of the deal, despite remarkable violations being committed since the onset of this ceasefire deal on the ground.
And Tarek, we are, of course, in the midst of a ceasefire that the Americans insist is holding. Still, reports of continuing Israeli strikes. What is being targeted and why? And what does this mean for Gaza's civilian population?
Well, it has been seen as a controversial Israeli behavior since the ceasefire took hold on the ground, where Hamas's spokesperson Hazem Qasem accused Israel that what is happening in the eastern parts of Gaza in terms of the systematic destruction of neighborhoods has been viewed by the movement as a violation of the ceasefire agreement, and he has been calling mediators to enforce Israel upholding to the terms of the agreement and to cessate these military activities. But Israel is saying that they are eliminating and removing any potential threats that can impose significant danger for the Israeli ground forces who are operating beyond the yellow line. We have seen these attacks multiple times in the past few hours, and even during the past 24 hours in the city of Khan Younis, in the eastern part of Deir el-Balah, and Gaza City as well, where civilians have been expressing their concerns about the expansion of such attacks to include the main urban residential centres.
All right, Tarek, many thanks for the update. Tarek Abu-Zoom there, live for us in Gaza City.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.